This is United A-Holes.
Hey! Welcome to the United A-Holes live stream, the only place you can see A-Holes perform without a license. All right, carrying on. News. We always do news first, and we will continue to do the news first. And Ken gets to go first, and he has something in the entertainment segment.
Hit me.
Yes, Kendall, you have something to tell us about, I believe, Marvel.
A Marvel. Phase 4 was announced a few days ago, and they've got quite a what's the word I'm looking for? An impressive, ambitious, I guess, slate of films. So I thought I'd throw them out there for you in order that they're going to come at us and just get like one or two word thoughts of whether you want to go see it or you like the previous films in the franchise. Some are completely new and have never been done before. So only one film slated now because of this pandemic that we're in for 2020, and that's going to come out in November. And that's the Black Widow film. We know it's going to be a prequel. What are your thoughts, Brent? Going to go see it?
Yeah, I'd give it a try. It looks good.
Martini?
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Duff?
Definitely.
Well, I mean, you want to go see it just for the leather camel toe. I mean, come on, right? I think we all are in agreement on that.
Sure.
All right, now they have three films slated for 2021, and the first one up is The Eternals, which is their Phase 4 big ensemble piece. As you guys may or may not be aware, Angelina Jolie is in it, Selma Hayek, Kit Harington. But honestly, I know nothing about The Eternals other than that they're going to be a good-looking group of superheroes, I guess, for lack of a better word. Do you know anything about the Eternals? Like, what are you thinking? You think the Risk or?
I personally don't know anything about it. So, if anybody else does,
No clue.
No clue about the Eternals other than that they are some kind of cosmic super force, like they're almost like titans or gods, kind of like, or I guess, I don't know. I know nothing about it, but I didn't really know anything about some of the other franchises that have stuck with them, and they seem to know what they're doing, so, and making them appeal to a broad audience with keeping the geeks happy, like us.
There you go.
Martini, I know you're knee-deep in trying to keep us afloat here, but any thoughts on the Eternals, bud?
I'm not aware of the Eternals either.
That's their big one that's going to kick off 2021. And then the next one is Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings. After that is another first. And I don't know anything about this, but, I mean, it's Marvel and it's Kung Fu, so who doesn't like a good Kung Fu movie? I guess.
Are we going to break into everybody was kung fu fighting? Is that the...
Whoa. Bling, 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 bling.
Struck. What else does Marvel get on coming for us?
Spider-Man 3 at the end of that.
Yes, baby.
And the rumor is that Ant-Man is going to be the Marvel cameo sidekick, or he's going to be involved in the story.
Nice.
So it's going to be Tom Holland and Paul Rudd. So I think it would be interesting. I mean,
I think that'd be fantastic.
He's my personal favorite superhero of all time. So
mine too.
And I do like the Ant-Man franchise, so that'll be good. So that covers off 2021.
We're going to see a tiny Spider-Man, hopefully.
Yeah, well, that's the I guess the kicker. Okay, so now 2022, and they've got 5 films slated for 2022. First one is Thor, Love and Thunder. Of course, Natalie Portman is back on board. So the last Thor I know was good. I enjoyed it. Did you like the last Thor, Duff?
Yeah, it was not too bad. It's comical.
I know, Martini, that's your favorite.
Yeah,
Thor, isn't it?
Ragnarok was my favorite Thor.
Mine
Ragnarok
too.
was really good. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Portman back in her. She is the the goddess of thunder, I guess, in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's
I
gonna be
guess.
good.
And of course, one that we talked about in our last live stream, the fact that Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, and it's going to have a horror movie kind of a slant. It's going to be very, very dark. I guess that actually had to be in order for Cumberbatch to actually come in and do. Other than the fact that he had probably a 5-film contract with them, I think that had more so to do with the fact that he's going to be in it.
Did you say, did you say Cumberbatch?
Yes.
Okay. I want to make sure I wasn't. I want to make sure I wasn't laughing like an idiot because I misheard something.
Oh,
The Great Cumberpatch.
Oh,
what is
that's
it?
good
What's
stuff.
it? That's what. That's
Yeah, it's close. You were close. I thought maybe you were doing it on purpose.
no. What?
Oh, okay.
What?
It's Batch.
Oh,
Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch. Oh, right. Well, you never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes I'm heckle and sometimes I'm jide.
Well, no, a few years back, somebody made a video where somebody went through and just completely screwed up his name continuously, and it was some of them were filthy, and I thought maybe you were sort of drawing inspiration from
No.
that. That's why I kind of lost it because I started thinking about that. I'm sorry, I interrupt you. Carry on.
No worries, man. Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
Even blacker.
Even black. Yeah.
Black to the future.
I didn't have time. I was gonna actually come up with like different names
Blackout.
for them, like Black Panther 2.
Black.
Blacker than black.
Nice.
But actually, Donald Glover is rumored to be signed on for this film. For the sequel to Black Panther. So that could be interesting. And also, somehow, even though he got killed in the first one, the guy that played the villain in it is going to be in it as well, too. That's what early reports are. And then, of course, Captain Marvel 2. And, of course, they got to make one so they can have Goose back in the movie. Of course, Goose, the cat, that was in the first one.
Very popular character.
Very popular character, so that comes out. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yes. Cannot wait.
But here's where it gets interesting, because these are all supposedly to be determined. Ant-Man 3, Ant-Man and the Boogie Band.
Seriously?
Well, that's what I'm hoping the title's going to be. But it kind of fits, right? Ant-Man and the Boogie Band. I go
Sure.
see that movie.
Absolutely. I hope they start making it tomorrow.
And then Blade. We know that Marcella Ali is going to be actual Blade because he was at Comic-Con, the one that wasn't canceled, the last one. And that was their big reveal at the end. He came out and stuck the Blade hat on. 2-time
Nice.
Oscar winner, so we know he can act. And then the X-Men Fantastic Four, now that Fox is owned by Disney. And they pretty much said that John
Krasinski?
Kaczynski or whatever the fuck his name is actually in talks for Reed Richards. So they pretty much come. What Josh said the last time we brought this up was that he could see him playing Reed Richards. Well, there you go.
You heard it here first, folks.
That's right.
Right on.
Hey, that's right. But whatever, shitty news, shitty.
You know what's funny is I still have his picture from the last time we talked about him.
There we go.
There you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Reed Richards. But how well can he stretch, though?
They'll add that in post.
Time will tell.
So is that it? That's
it.
The roster
That's
right
Marvel
now.
Phase 4, yeah.
I think once we can actually get back into theaters again, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm going to live there for the first week.
I heard an
Yeah.
unsubstantiated rumor today, so don't quote me on this. But they released the Trolls movie. Was supposed to go in theaters right when the pandemic hit, and they released it on a online rental only. and it did more in the first week than the original Trolls did in 3 months.
Holy
Something
cow.
of that nature. So
Wow.
they're looking at maybe not putting movies to theaters anymore.
Huh.
Wow.
But I think a big part of it is the pandemic. So
Well,
Yeah.
clearly, yeah.
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 But
or
I
people
would,
that said, "Oh, you know what? I didn't watch that. I guess I'll watch it now."
yeah.
Well, at home, clothing is optional.
Josh says that AMC said they wouldn't show Universal films because of that.
AMC, the television station?
I'm assuming, yeah, he's got all capitals. Yeah. So it sounds like a bit of a feud between AMC and Universal, maybe.
I know
Well,
that
AMC, American Movie Classics, so.
Yeah.
They-
Oh, AMC.
they-
No. He just clarified AMC theaters.
Yeah, I know that
Oh,
there's an
okay.
American Association for Theaters that has an agreement with the studio productions that if a studio is going to release a movie within 90 days of a theatrical release, that they have to be informed so they can make a decision not to show it in the theater. And from my experience, any studio that did state that this movie will be released on such and such format, other than a theater within 90 days, they don't go wide. Theaters don't pick them up.
Wow.
Wow.
So there could be a big shift in could be a big shift in how we view movies. I don't know. Be interesting to see.
The pandemic
Yeah.
may permanently kill the theater in
It's possible.
at
It's
least
possible.
small towns. They might still exist in larger cities, but
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All righty. So in our tech section, Facebook is now offering a room for messages similar to Zoom. It's up to 50 people. So Zoom does 100, and they give you 45 minutes. That's your free, basically. Facebook is saying we are giving you 50 people and unlimited time. You can have 50 people on for as long as you possibly want. So they're anticipating that the no time limit is going to pull people over away from Zoom.
I know Discord is also offering video rooms, but I don't know the details of how many in a room, and as far as I know, it's unlimited time.
Okay. I'm expecting that Facebook probably looked at the metrics. This is my guesstimation. So they looked at the average amount of people on a Zoom call. They looked at the average amount of time, even taking in the fact that 45 minutes is all you get with Zoom. I don't know whether you can pay for more time, but I read that 45 minutes is what they allow you, I guess. And I would imagine that probably most meetings, like actual, like business meetings and that type of thing, probably. Nice, Ken. And 50 people is all they need, and we can pull people away from Zoom. I don't know why they want to pull people away from Zoom. I guess for advertising revenue would be my estimation on that, I guess. So I don't know. Anyway, interesting. It would be good. First thing I thought of is it would be good for families that wanted to get more than 8. I think was the max for video before. So if they wanted to get more people on, then they could do that. Anyway, interesting to see that that's now what's being jumped on, I guess. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, it is what we like to call in our new segment, Tiger Time. Mr. Ken, take it away.
Well, I got to channel my Joe Exotic here. Just give me a second here. I am here, and talk like this. I'll sing like this. Man's a walking billboard for auto-tune. So, once again, things are a little awry in Tiger Town, guys. We'll start with the big headline. Former boyfriend of Carol Baskins, you know, she's the she-devil from the docuseries, has come out and said that she is no pussycat in the sack. Now, while I appreciate a woman that can scare you into fucking them, boy, is that news. Seriously. Haven't we?
I don't know, Ken. You're the one reporting it. Why is it news?
Haven't we been connected to this long enough? I mean, but to kick a guy when he's down, now that he is in jail, all the naysayers and all the people that were friends of his supposedly back when he was, all that and a bag of chips now are coming out and revealing all these ugly truths that nobody really knew that was on the show. A producer actually went on record and said that there was a scene that was actually filmed that didn't make it on air. Have you heard about the horse meat one? So on the show while they were doing the documentary, a lady showed up with a horse that was couldn't put out that anymore, and Joe said, "Oh yeah, I'll give it a good life and everything like that." And when she pulled away and was out of eyesight, he just walked up, shot the horse, and then fed it to his tigers.
Yep.
So they're taking their pock shots at him, that's for sure. But the latest Tiger Town headline got to be this week that Joe's third husband, who I reported last week, is a little worried that Joe's not being faithful to him while he's on the inside, says that the world needs to feel sorry for Carol Baskins because of all the scrutiny that she's been under with the disappearance of her husband. Because, without a body, if she really can't, defend herself, to say that, well, of course there's no body. That's what happens when you feed it to tigers. Or according to Joe's or her husband's lawyer, he was thrown out of an airplane somewhere over the Bermuda Triangle and strangled from behind. So, but anyways, it's definitely it'll be a part of our pulp culture. We'll be talking about this 20 years from now, probably.
Yeah, I would think so, because there's more to the story to come yet. I mean, will he get,
charges as well, too, apparently. That was another big thing that came out this week. He's going to be up on more animal cruelty charges. So, but anyways, on to you, Brent.
All righty, very good. So, last news segment is under entertainment, and I am going to split this between Ken and I. So, Paul McCartney was on Howard Stern, and through the course of conversation, they started talking about the Beatles versus the Rolling Stones. And a comment was made. I'm going to pull my notes up here. McCartney said, there we go. Now I can see all the words. Isn't that great? When they're writing stuff, he's talking about the Stones. It has to do with the blues. We had a little more influence. There's a lot of differences. I love the Stones, but I'm with you. The Beatles were better. So now I'm going to throw over to the response. Once Mick Jagger heard this, I'm going to let Ken tell you what Mick had to say.
And truly, what would be considered the a-hole quote of the week from Mick said first, "Oh, there's no rivalry between the Beatles and the Rolling Stones," and then followed up with, "Besides, we're two completely different bands. We're still selling out stadiums, and they don't exist." He might as well have said, "Didn't one of them get shot? What a fucking loser." No, there's no rivalry. But he said, he actually did say in tongue in cheek, he goes, "Oh, I love Paul."
Yeah, I saw that part. I thought it was interesting. As I was reading it, I was thinking to myself, how can this be an argument? The Beatles haven't been together for I don't know how many years now. and the Stones are still tour. So I'm reading it. This is going through my head, and then I get to his comment, which is exactly what I've been thinking. I'm like, he could guest star on the show.
Exactly.
All right. Up next is previously on United A-Holes, but I'm going to interrupt that segment for something I meant to do at the beginning. Really quickly, I have been thinking that our audience really needs something extra to do while they're watching the show. I wanted to throw this out to them, and I also wanted to throw to them to see if they can think of anything. So it would be a United A-Holes live stream, specifically drinking game. So I threw this out to the guys. I got a couple of things. I want to see if anybody has any other ideas on when you should drink. So I'm gonna go through it rapid fire, and then we'll get back to Ken for another segment. Some of these have to be sips because we do this stuff a lot. So it would be sip every time we say and I have a note on my secondary screen that says in large letters, "Don't I'm trying not to do it tonight. Drink when the countdown starts. Drink when Duff flashes something on his screen. Drink when a new segment starts. Take a sip every time one of us looks off screen. And sip every time Ken rocks forward."
Oh, fuck. Do we want them to go through a 40-ouncer in 10 minutes?
That's why I said sip. Terrell Hawthorne dies. Do a shot every time Ken said something dirty. Awesome. Good deal. I knew our audience would be right on top of this. All right, so it's time for previously on United A-Holes. So we're throwing back to I don't know what, but we're going to let Ken take it away. Have at it, bud.
All right. Previously on United A-Holes on March 15th of this year, we did an episode called Back to the Future Rewrite. And so a couple of days ago, I was going through news-worthy items, and I came across one on Back to the Future that said, "Finally, a plot hole explained." And this was from the guy that was one of the writers on the actual movie. And basically what the plot hole was, people found it unconscionable that George McFly and his wife, Lorraine, Lorraine, wasn't that... the mother's name on the show? Anyway, it doesn't matter. That they would not recognize Marty as their son from Calvin Klein from The Thing. And basically, the guy actually made a good point. He goes, okay, name somebody that you saw periodically for 1 week 30 years ago in your life in high school and remember him. I mean... people look like people. I mean, I'm a card-carrying member of the Jones family, and people think that I look more like her than her actual 3 sons, for crying out loud. I mean, so...
We're gonna carve that into your tombstone. People look like people. Carry on.
People look like people. I mean, how much clearer do I have to say it, right? But here's the kicker. I've always been ridiculed for the fact that I never saw Back to the Future 2 and never saw Back to the Future 3. Even though I saw the first one in the theater and great movie and everything, and years go by, never saw the second one. What do you mean you never saw the second movie? What is wrong with you? I said, well, it just wasn't a big priority, and I heard that it wasn't, as good as the first one, and then they came out with a second one, and I was like, okay. So when I saw the plot hole, I said, okay, I'm going to make it a mission to actually watch the second one and the third one and finally say that, yes, I've seen all 3 movies. And yeah, I thought the second one was horrible. Just absolutely horrible. And I don't know if it was the fact that I already knew about the Crispin Glover controversy, the fact that he was in the movie, but he actually wasn't in the movie. They just used the likeness of him and computer graphics. And the fact that their version of 2015 was this dystopian thing and cars could fly and everything like that, that probably, didn't hurt the fact that it was, still remotely not even close to what, I know the movie was done in 89. or 88. Yeah, the first one in 85, 80, yeah, 89, and then the third one. Now, the third one had some redeeming qualities to it. I actually didn't mind the third one because I thought the whole centering around Doc and Marty's relationship was good and everything, but I just didn't buy Biff as this all-powerful tycoon like in the second one that, you know, he was just, I just thought it was just it was an underwear wall movie. You know what I mean by an underwear wall movie?
Blake, carry on. Tell us what it is. Take us on a trip.
Well, you throw your underwear on the wall and see if it sticks. Kind of thing, right? You know? Somewhere in a movie meeting, they're like, what can we have for the second one? Okay, let's do this. What do you want to go with? All of it.
Okay, I would dare say that you waiting that long to watch those other two movies is partially what, like you said, the fact that they based it on a date that's already passed and things were going on that we don't have right now, is probably what sort of killed it for you. You probably should have watched it back in the day or handy or two, but hey, it is what it is, and you know, it's still a decent franchise. So okay, we'll end it with this. How many stars out of 5 would you give number 2 and number 3?
I would give 2 for the second one.
Okay.
And I would give 3.5 for the fifth one.
Okay.
And I would give the first one still 5 out of 5.
Okay. That'll keep Randy happy. That's our main goal with that particular franchise. All right, carry on. So it is time for Mr. Duff's meme of the week. Meme of the week. Meme of the week. Meme of the week.
Me.
I like to preface this by saying it's very, very difficult to get a meme that doesn't have to do with the damn coronavirus. That's all you see.
It's all right.
All the time.
If it's a good one, it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, frankly.
No, that's Brent.
Oh, jeez.
It's going to take. You guys can you see that? I don't think the viewers can see it. It's not showing up.
No, your Skype blurred image is just your.
It's the bridge of the Star Destroyer.
Exactly. Unblur your background.
So I have to remove that for everyone to see it. So.
We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Please stand by.
And that's why the green screen rules.
True.
Yeah.
True.
It looks like a jerk hand or something.
I'll just disable this. There we go. And frankly...
Oh, a bum back! Who doesn't like a good bum back?
But that is not the actual meme of the week. I actually did find... I had to go dig a little deeper. And so I decided to go with this.
That's good stuff. That is good stuff. I have not seen that one.
I hope you guys all enjoyed that one.
Oh, that's good. I did. You did good. You did good. Oh my land. Ken, are you ready for this day in music history?
I am.
How far back are we going?
We're going back to 1784, folks.
Oh,
because
okay.
on this day in 1784, Mozart Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart released.
Guy on the screen.
Yeah, him released his sonata in B flat on this day. But who's kidding who? The only reason why I put it on there because you can't fucking say his name without going, ooh, rock me, Amadeus, Amadeus, Amadeus,
Amadeus, Amadeus, Amadeus,
Amadeus.
Oh, Amadeus.
Oh. Now we'll go into the more modern times. 1967, a year after I was born. Aretha Franklin released.
That's not the order you sent them to me in.
Billy, Willie's up there. Okay. Happy birthday, Willie Nelson. Today is Willie Nelson's birthday.
You shouldn't have said anything. What was funny?
Aretha Franklin released
Not looking so shit on.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. What? R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
No, I was going to say the first picture of Aretha. She's not looking too good.
Yeah, well. She's a good-looking woman. Anyway, she released Respect today. All-time R&B classic. 1970, getting back to the Beatles and the Stones. 1970, George Harrison announces to a reporter that the Beatles would reunite eventually. During an interview, while he was discussing his first solo record, he declared that the Beatles would reunite eventually.
In the afterlife.
In the afterlife.
Hard no.
That's right. In 1993, Mick Ronson dies at age 45. Do you guys know who Mick Ronson is? Mick Ronson's the lead guitar player for the Spiders from Mars, David Bowie's songwriting partner for better part of his earlier career when he was Ziggy Stardust. But what you may not know is that Mick Ronson, after the Spiders from Mars disbanded, well, this is how influential he still was in the music scene. John Cougar Mellencamp actually credits him with the song Jack and Diane.
Really?
Yes, he does, actually, because he was actually working on the record as a guitar player on the album, doing some studio work on that album, and he just basically said, bring that Jack and Diane song up again. And Cougar said, what, that piece of shit? Literally, he said, it's just a leftover. And he goes, no, do this, do that with the song and everything. And that's where we get the Don't Let It Rock, Let It Roll with the drums and everything like that. That's all Mick Ronson. And that's why he made the album. And one of his biggest hits. So, unfortunately, he passed away in 1993. And also in 93, the Smashing Pumpkins released their debut album, Siamese Dream.
It's a great album.
Which subjected the world to
I used to be on your brain. The world is a vampire.
Anyways,
Not that album.
no, that was on A Bullet with Butterfly Wings, but anyway, hard to believe that, you know, the guy had you like that one, ginger martini.
That is incorrect, Ken. That
What's
is
that?
on Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness album.
Well, the song was called A Bullet with Butterfly Wings.
Are you sure?
Listen to the thoughts in my head and not the words that come out of my mouth.
No, thank you.
Okay, Trump.
Oh my. Oh, for pity's sake. Are you done? Or do you have one more?
Now,
Ken Trump. Oh no. We've evolved into Trump name calling. All right, very good. Seriously, do you have any more? That's it? That was the last one?
that was the last one. 6. A hard 6.
A hard 6.
Hard 6.
Well, it is now time, as you can see on the screen, for. Can we all say it together? Let's try it.
That's not what you
quoted me. Okay, that turned out as terrible as I hoped it would. Okay, so I'm going to give you the star. It's Britney Spears, and I'm going to give you 2 quotes, and you're going to tell me which one. And I dug so that I could find people that Martini would actually know who they were, because there was some confusion last week. So I stuck with mainstream people that he would know. So did she say, listen, everyone is entitled to my opinion? Or did she say, I've never really wanted to go to Japan simply because I don't like eating fish, and I know that that's very popular there in Africa?
I'm going to go with option B.
Okay. Duff?
Yeah, B.
Ken,
A.
listen, everyone's entitled to my opinion.
Yeah.
That was actually Madonna, which sounds completely on brand.
Sounds
And-
like the Material Girl. Yeah.
And Britney Spears was the one that said, "I never really wanted to go to Japan simply because I don't like eating fish, and I know it's very popular out there in Africa."
I bless the rains down in Africa.
I did not
cover that. Would you
I
listen to a Britney Spears cover of Toto's Africa?
know because
Lisa
that
already
song,
did it. I don't want to do another one.
that song is perfect, and it doesn't need any redoing.
That's why we should do it in a future episode.
No. Thank you, no. I did see that somebody made a comment on that video that they wanted us to do any Star Wars movie for the next time that we get to Area 41 and do something like that. Any of them, they didn't care which one it was. All right, that's not what you quoted me. And now we're going to bounce back to Duff with the GIF of the week. The words pronounced so differently, you have to change the spelling.
That's right. So, GIF of the week. I'll take my background off so you guys can see it. There we go. I'm not sure if you guys heard about what's going on in Fort McMurray. They're actually getting flooding now. Like the fire wasn't enough. So, I came across
The fire's
this.
still going?
Pardon me?
The fire's still going?
No, I said they're getting flooding now. Like all downtown is a mandatory evacuation in Fort McMurray.
Holy.
Yeah. So I came across this GIF of the week. That's the old GIF of the week.
Still funny, though.
That
It's a
happened in
classic.
Fort McMurray? I did not realize
There you
that.
go.
I thought water was going to...
Oh,
Holy frick. What the
Whoa. Whoa.
hell?
watch that first step.
It's a doozy.
Rude awakening.
But
in 3, 2,
I take it
1.
they didn't go that way. They weren't, like, retracing their steps.
No.
When I first saw that, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be a big car splash from this. Oh no! And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, it's worse.
That's insane. I was going to say fired up again because you cannot tell.
No.
You cannot tell. And like right to the nostrils, man.
Yeah. And I believe. Is he carrying a child? Yes.
Oh, yeah. So right down it. Oh, I never noticed
Ooh.
that. And there you go. Scoop him.
Scoop them.
That's,
Scoop and
that's-
save.
I almost feel bad for laughing, but it's funny. So what the hell?
I got a good laugh out of the last week, so I figured keep in the same vein and see what happens there.
Absolutely.
I have to clarify, that's not Fort McMurray. I just brought that up because of the flooding. So.
Shh, shh. No. We don't tell our secrets.
Don't look behind the curtain.
That's right. Speaking of curtains, that's a perfect segue into teeny shitty movie reviews.
Yes, shitty is the key word this week.
Oh my,
Oh.
I cannot wait.
And I got to turn off studio mode so I can enable my pictures. So, first up this week, we have James versus His Future Self. Directed by Jeremy Lalonde, starring Jonas Chernick, Daniel Stern, and Cleopatra Coleman. And between the three of them,
I
the
know
most
Stern
notable as seen in reference I can give you is Home Alone.
Okay.
Wow. That's a while ago.
That's a while ago. Now, normally I enjoy sci-fi comedies where time travel's involved. And this film did an excellent job of taking that setup and completely destroying it. The main character believes his future self almost immediately. And I know what you're thinking. Well, yeah, when you face yourself from the future, I mean, it's hard to dispute. You're looking at yourself in real life. But unfortunately, the actors in this film aren't good enough for one role, let alone two. So it's a completely different person coming back. So the film has to explain very quickly that time travel has physical effects on the body, like height, bone structure, and voice. But hey, who are we to dispute how time travel works? I know I've never done it.
Well, there you go.
And that concludes the sci-fi element of the movie. Let's discuss the comedy aspect of the movie.
That's
Metacritic has yet to score it. IMDb gives it a 5.8, and Rotten Tomato gives it a 100% critics only, no audience at this point.
Ryan gives it a -1.
Honestly,
Rolled in one.
this movie is more of a romance movie for introverted nerds. Watch at your own risk.
okay. Can I ask you a question, Ryan?
Sure.
Okay. Would this movie have been better if they screwed?
So there was a scene where you think they're going to screw, and then the classic nerd fucks it up trope happens. And yes, it would have been better if they finished the deed.
Can't argue with that kind of logic.
Second movie this
I don't
week.
make movies.
Action Point, directed by Tim Kirkby, starring Johnny Knoxville, Eleanor Worthington Cox, and Chris Pontius. This comedy is Johnny telling his granddaughter about the summer when he was forced to close his theme park, Action Point, and her mother's role in his life that summer. See, Johnny was a divorced, and his ex-wife lives on the East Coast while he lives on the West Coast, so his daughter comes to stay with him during the summers and helps him run Action Point. This year, a legitimate theme park opens and puts his anything goes, no supervision park into financial difficulties. So we get to watch as John gets beat up in unrealistic scenarios and despite his best effort fails to save his park. If you like watching the obvious forced accidents that Johnny is known for, then you will still be disappointed in this film as he tries to become a real actor. Rotten Tomato gives it 25%. Metacritic gives it a 36. IMDb 5.1. I say it's as good as a kick in the shin.
Nice. Nice.
So she's on the East Coast.
The ex-wife is, yeah. And that's where the daughter
and
normally
he's on
stays.
the West Coast.
Yep.
Okay.
So the daughter
I guess the only
travels
thing-
across the country to stay with Johnny Knoxville every summer.
Do they cyber?
Him and his daughter?
No, this
No.
isn't Pornhub
She's
stepchild.
on the West. Do they? Yeah. Do they cyber? No.
No.
I'm starting to question your choice of movies there, Martini.
I said they were shitty movies.
That's good stuff. That is fantastic. I hope you dig deeper into the shit pile as we continue with teeny shitty movie reviews. That's good stuff. Yes,
Brent?
Kendall at the back.
or maybe not just for Brent, but what do you think of a future segment by me called "Do They Screw"?
We already do it. It's part of teeny shitty movie reviews.
Randy suggested that I reviewed Lady Frankenstein because that is a movie that we watched with Josh in on Twitch the other night. And the sad part is that Lady Frankenstein is far better than the movies I've been reviewing. So
I tried to watch, but there was such a lag that I figured that if it was an hour, I don't know how long that movie is. I'm assuming with the age, it was probably an hour and a half. I figured it was going to take a day to watch it because there was so much lag. So I'm like, I'm just going to sneak back out of the room. I like the premise, but the lag was killing me. It was killing me, Jerry. Cool. All right. I am up this week for a tasty time out. So I did send a picture. There we go. Look at that. Does that not look tasty?
Is that a poutine?
Looks like a chili poutine.
A raisin poutine. Are those raisins?
It is chili cheese fries, and those are homemade French fries and homemade chili. And there's a little bit of sour cream on there as well. And I threw it together, and I'm like, boy, I don't know. I may have just ruined like a couple of good dishes. And then I tried it, and it was absolutely fantastic. I spiced it up with a little bit of heat, nothing too serious. And it turned out really, really well. I was happy with it. The only thing was that was like the only one I could make because that was me using up the last of my chili. So I'll have to try it again later on. Chili cheese fries. If you're in the market with those ingredients in your house, try it. It is delicious.
It's called homemade because you made it from your home, right?
I actually cut those fries and cook them in my deep fryer. It's homemade as in, yeah. There was labor involved beyond opening up a bag of French fries, and I made the chili myself. And I shredded the cheese. I just scooped the sour cream out. I'm sorry. I didn't make the sour cream. My bad. So I guess it's canned then.
Well, no, it's legitimate, right? I mean, not like these, like restaurants, they'll say homemade cooking. Well, they don't make it at home and then bring it to the restaurant. They make it at the restaurant, I believe.
You don't know.
Maybe they live at the restaurant.
There you go.
Actually, that's, they could up above, right?
Yeah, there you go. So that makes it homemade. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
That's
okay, forget what I said.
We're trying. That's it for Tasty Time Out. Do we have any messages from the web?
Indeed we do.
Welcome back to another week of me being stuck in the damn internet, and it sucks. It's so depressing in here. Guys, you gotta save me. Get me out of this nonsense. This is just a terrible, terrible experience. I've been trying my hardest to ignore the nonsense that is happening, but it's unavoidable. You know what I'm talking about. Here, take a look at this.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with.
Hey, I have an idea. You know what might work? You know that Supergirl show, I think it's called? It's on TV. I watched like 30 seconds of it and it was terrible. But have you ever seen it without the special effects? It's really bad. Don't take my word for it. Check this out.
Maybe Cara Danvers is tougher than you think.
We're not gonna win this today.
Also, you know how sitcoms are made and then they put the laugh track in afterwards? Here, just watch this one. Watch this clip.
Nothing makes beer taste better than cool, clear Rocky Mountains spring water. Where are the Rocky Mountains anyway?
Philadelphia.
Really? I thought they were out west someplace.
Think about it, Raj. Where did the movie Rocky take place?
Philadelphia. Okay, now I get it.
So this is the plan? From now on, we're just gonna hide out in here to avoid the shamey?
I'm very comfortable here. Penny dear, why don't you shoot another silver bullet my way?
Wow, that was terrible. Good job, Chuck. But what if we did this idea that they do with the sitcoms with Boy Wonder there? Let's have a look at that now.
So I asked Bill a question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light. And I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant that knocks it out in a minute. 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors here. But it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it goes in a 1 minute, that's pretty powerful.
Ha. Hey, the mainstream media should pick up on this. You know, they're already being accused of being fake, so why not just amp it up, like kick it up a notch?
Every now and then you want to knock it up a notch with a blast from your Spice Weasel. Bam!
All right, so let's try another one. We know special effects are going to make some things better, so let's take another news item or video clip, whatever, and amp it up with some special effects and see what we get.
It's freedom of speech, you guys!
Oh yeah, this is working. I know it's working. I think you guys are on. You're on with me. You get it? You get it? Here's a clip of some llamas. It's really boring. I found it on Reuters, and it is bad. It's just boring. I don't even understand why they posted this.
The alpacas are also used for therapeutic purposes. We have many therapy groups that come to the farm, and alpacas radiate a calming effect. If you look Joanne the alpaca in the eyes, you become calmer.
So let's add a little of this and a little of that, and bam! Hit it with the Spice Weasel. Yeah, let's see what happens.
What does Marcellus Wallace look like? What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
Well, this has been an interesting experiment. Makes you wonder, is everything better with special effects? Maybe this show could be better with special effects? You know, maybe I could do something to dress this up a little bit. What do you think, Brent? Do you want to meet me at the crossroads and give me a kiss?
No tongue, Brent.
I thought he'd never ask. That has been another edition of From the Web. Randy's asking for us to bring him back from being jammed in the web, and I think we're just going to leave him there. That's good stuff. We'll leave him right in there and see what he can grab from the interwebs for us in the coming weeks. Alrighty, so there we go. Just like that, we're at the end of another live stream for United A-Holes. Ken, you like this episode?
Yeah, it's good.
All righty. Duff, you like this episode? Cat's got his tongue, so we'll just go right to Ryan. You like this episode?
Yeah, it's good.
All righty. That's it from Area 41. Thank you for watching, and remember, always be the right kind of a-hole.